There can be no more trade-off of human rights and protection of the environment. No more business as usual approach.
Around the world, indigenous peoples occupy and tend to some of the last swaths of untouched lands, but they're quickly being forced to leave their homes.
They are grabbing our resources without even asking us, as if we don't exist.
Like you say, you are removing the Maasai people in Ngorongoro because of conservation, and immediately you replace them with a hunting company from the United Arab Emirates.
Governments and corporations in search of mineral wealth, real estate, and other resources are criminalizing the daily lives of indigenous peoples like the Maasai. But Indigenous Peoples Rights International, or IPRI, is fighting back.
I know now if I have to help my community, I have to transform the colonial thinking.
We need to raise our voices. We need to take action. It's everyone's right to live in dignity.
To solve the world's most pressing problems, we need to trust those closest to the challenge. These are the solutions that make our world a better place for everyone. This is Rethinking Possible.
Indigenous peoples of the world is only 6% of the global population, but we protect 60 to 80% of the remaining biodiversity of the world.
And those undeveloped, biodiverse areas of indigenous land across the globe will be key in the fight against climate change.
Indigenous people live in a way that land is a communal property.
But states and corporations have a different view. They want to take these resources for profit. Indigenous communities are not aware of their rights, and in this way, they're asking for support.
We see this right now in the case of Tanzania.
IPRI was born out of the necessity to address human rights violations of indigenous peoples across the globe. The work that we do is considered as a threat by those with vested interest in power. When I was in the Cordillera, 4 of my colleagues were killed.
But despite the danger of the work, Joan has led IPRI's efforts to protect indigenous land rights worldwide.
I come from the Maasai tribe, from Ngorongoro. We are pastoralists. We keep cows and goats. Our life cannot be without the trees, without the rivers, without the wild animals, without the cows that we keep.
I keep my livestock within this vicinity, in this village, which is called Mferegi, and that gives me life.
In 1940, British colonial rule established Serengeti National Park in Tanzania, evicting many Maasai from their ancestral lands. Since then, the Maasai are still being pushed out in the name of conservation. For example, in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, the Tanzanian government is planning to lease the land to United Arab Emirates for trophy hunting and elite tourism. And Maasai in villages like Mferegi still live under threat of relocation.
The government said they're not evicting people, but they're cutting off electricity, they're cutting off water, they're closing the schools. So when the case of Maasai came up, we said, okay, we're committed to work with you.
When IPRI agreed to help the Maasai, they paired community representatives like Edward with legal advocacy groups in order to further their case. With their help, they were able to take the case of Ngorongoro all the way to the UN.
Working with IPRI, it has given a voice to what we are trying to fight for.
For indigenous peoples, it's your future at stake.
We have been able to expose violations of human rights. We have been able to document those violations.
Instead of lip service, it is actions, actions, actions. Thank you.
The UN wrote to the government of Tanzania that the Maasai people have rights and that they need to respect these rights.
And after the UN heard the Maasai case, the European Union pulled its conservation funding to Tanzania.
It was a clear sign to the government of Tanzania that the world is watching.
In my language, they say, Ngen ngonya naivang. There is intelligence in the eyes of those who are exposed.
We need to learn from this experience of the Maasai people in Tanzania. They are the ones protecting nature, securing the future of the next generations.
I wish to remind our global leaders that the respect and protection of human rights is an obligation and not just a pledge. Thank you.
We have made progress. I'm really motivated to build the capacity of the community to defend themselves.
I'm proud to be a Maasai woman. Surely this is our land. You cannot just take it. Please leave our land.
They deserve justice, and they will stand and fight for their land with their lives.